strict and manual. Animals will be coming here today. People are beeping their horns and swearing at us as they're coming past. There's people, it's an absolute carnage system we've got going here, but we're here today to bring you, the consumer, the transparency of an industry that relies on secrecy to operate, to keep going. Our disclaimers here is that we're not here to cause alarm, harassment or distress or any form of intimidation. We're here today not to clash with non-vegans, to point fingers at you and say that you're a bad person. We're here today to show you the truth, the transparency, because when you know the truth and you understand the industries that exploit animals, you then have an educated position to decide whether you want to continue to oppress animals or if you want to live vegan. It's as simple as that. As you come into this live stream, please make sure you double tap the live stream to like it. We need 100 likes as fast as possible before the next animals come in, and I believe they're coming in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Please put a 1 in the chat if you're vegan, put a 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to the conversation, and put a 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Make sure you subscribed, hit the bell notification, double tap the stream. We're here today not to clash, just to educate. We're here to tell you what we know, and when you are educated, you can then make that educated decision. This slaughterhouse here kills cows, dairy cows and beef cows. 2 different cows from 2 different industries. Now, the beef industry leans on the dairy industry, and the dairy industry leans on the beef industry. They confuse the consumer. You never know, right? You just believe that cows eat grass, produce milk, or they produce so much milk that they give some to their babies, and then we just take a little bit on top, and all the cows live happily ever after. That's not the case. This industry is evil, it's barbaric, and if you want to see it in its full extensity, then go into the description, click on the Linktree link and watch Dominion.
Yeah, Callum has just put, heart always races with every single lorry that goes in.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Every time you stand here, my adrenaline is literally pumping the whole time.
Yeah.
You start to hear the sounds of the trucks, and you start to know, like, when the aura changes in these environments. And this is why we're constantly heads on a swivel looking left and right. Animals will be coming here today to go through the gate behind us, to be executed, to be murdered. And the reason why they're going in there to be murdered is for an optional product like a block of cheese, a yogurt, a chocolate bar, or their breast milk in your tea and coffee. That's the reason why individuals will be dragged through that gate, pushed onto the kill floor, shoved into a knockbox, shot in the face, and have their throats slashed open, after having baby after baby after baby taken from them. That's the dairy industry. It's a standalone industry. Now, the beef industry, cows are exploited for their flesh. They're growing fast. The beef industry cows do stay with their babies because they want the babies to grow as fast as possible. This is where the dairy industry leans on the beef industry. When people see mothers and babies in the fields, they go, oh, look, them vegans were wrong. All the babies are with their mums. No, that's the beef industry. The dairy industry, all babies are taken. A dairy cow will never, ever, ever spend any time with her babies. And if you want to see the reality of it, go to our main channel. Links in the description of this one. Go to the Linktree, and you can see our main channel from there. We've investigated dairy farms. We go to them all the time, and you never, ever, ever see babies and mums together. Imagine if we did that. Imagine going to a maternity ward in your local hospital, gathering up all the babies, shackling all the mums to the beds, and then milking them until they can no longer produce enough milk that you deem them profitable, and then you send them off to a slaughterhouse. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations, 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Please double tap the stream, share, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. Any questions in there?
Seeing what they're doing, just moving.
Oh God, it smells so bad here.
Cows are not killed for dairy. Are they going in?
Cows are killed for dairy. I've literally just explained the dairy industry to you. I've explained what happens.
What's that? Okay, they're opening the gate now. This is inside of the
slaughterhouse right now. Here they are. This is the layers that I'm talking about right in there. You see that big silver gate? That's where the animals will be going inside. You can see in here, this is where the skins are. They kill the animals and they take their skins off and they lay their skins into the salt beds over here. You can see just down there to the right. That's the layerage. They go in here, they get taken through there, they're killed, they take their skin off their bodies, and their skins are also sold. People think that leather is people think that leather is just a byproduct. Leather is a standalone industry. The leather is ripped from cows' bodies as a standalone industry. It's a co-industry. How do you sleep at night working here? Shame on you guys. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, Be open-minded to these conversations. Free in the chat. If you don't care about animals, double tap the stream, like, share and subscribe. We're here today to bring you the transparency. Look at the secrecy that surrounds this industry. They never tell the consumer the truth. They take away the transparency. They replace it with lies. This gate is usually on an electric automatic system, but today security are running it forwards and backwards because they don't want the consumer even seeing the individuals as they come past.
Only Gangs just put, you know, cows need milking to prevent infection and they get sent to the slaughterhouse when they're at the end of their lifespan. What a lie. What an absolute lie. I hate liars so much.
Either you actually don't know anything about the dairy industry or you're a farmer trying to continue the indoctrination of the public.
Yeah.
This is not the case. Let me just break it down really simple. Cows produce milk because they're mums. They have babies, they're mammals, they produce breast milk for their babies. That's it, full stop.
Yeah.
They don't just magically produce milk. The babies are taken away from their mums because they're extensively milked for their milk to be sold as a product, as a commodity. When they can no longer produce enough milk to be deemed profitable, they're sent to a slaughterhouse to die. Now, it doesn't matter at whatever age of their life that happens, it would be an injustice, but they're actually sent here to die at about 3 to 5 years old on average. That's the average age of a dairy cow. People believe that vegetarian is okay, and this is the reason why vegetarian is not okay, because vegetarians will still pay for the exploitation of cows, still pay for the exploitation of fish, still pay for the exploitation. Another triggered truck driver, big crybaby troll.
Yeah, it seems to be the truck drivers, the crybabies. Vegan Christianity just put, they often skin them alive in UK standard slaughterhouses. That is so true. Thank you for bringing up that point.
And also another fact is that around 20% of dairy cows go to a slaughterhouse still pregnant.
Yeah.
Because dairy cows are sold on their weight. So a lot of the time they make them pregnant, they have a calf for a few months inside, then they get a little bit heavier, then they're sold on their weight. They cut the embryo sac open and allow the baby to suffocate on the floor of a kill floor whilst her mum is shackled up by one leg, have her throat slashed open and watch her baby and mum die at the same time. That is the industry you support when you buy ice cream made of dairy milk, when you buy chocolate made of dairy milk, when you buy cow's milk for your tea or coffee. If that sounds horrific and sounds like an industry you want to avoid, then simply go vegan. 1 in the chat if you've already done that. 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations. 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Let me stop in with Mel and take over.
Yeah, all right. Okay, guys, so I'm at a slaughterhouse right now. Behind me, they kill cows from the dairy industry. They kill cows from the beef industry. Did you know that every single animal that you eat and consume is a baby who didn't want to die? Did you know that when you say things like KFC, what you're actually referring to when you're talking about chickens is the broiler chickens, where they have been genetically modified to grow really large in a short space of time. Their legs break underneath them. They're 42 days old when they get sentenced to a gas chamber to be brutally killed and suffocated to death in these evil places. We've been outside these facilities. Go and look at our previous live streams. We've been outside gas chambers for chickens, for pigs, standard. We've been outside a place yesterday where they were killing cows from the dairy industry and the beef industry, and we can hear them screaming from the side of the road. Please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, and 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream and please subscribe. Why the hell would they have like 2 security people here watching us, waiting for a truck to come in so that when the truck comes in, they can pull this gate faster across to let the truck in really fast. Usually it's on an automated system. Why don't they want you to even see the animals from the outside, let alone what's happening on the inside? Put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Put 2 in the chat if you are open-minded but not vegan yet. And 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream and please subscribe. If you're not vegan, you are literally killing disabled little babies. Disabled little babies from the chicken industry, the egg industry. Starts at a hatchery, so someone is vegetarian on here or thinking, oh yeah, I'll go vegetarian. Vegetarian still abuses and kills animals. In a hatchery, that's where the chickens go when they hatch and they sex them between male and female. The males do not produce eggs, so they're classed as a waste product. They're useless to the industry. They get sentenced on like a conveyor belt that drops straight into a macerator, an open blender alive. These cute little male chicks are literally being cut up with a blender alive, okay, purely because people are stealing the periods from egg-laying hens. They're also not egg-laying hens. Let me explain what happens in the egg industry in a moment. Put number 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet, and put number 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream and please subscribe. Before I continue on, I just want to let you know that I'm not trying to hate on anybody. I'm not trying to hate on you guys in the live stream. We're trying to turn your head against the industry that has lied to all of us. In the egg industry, did you know that egg-laying hens are not egg-laying hens? They've been genetically modified to lay 300 eggs a year. Naturally, they should only lay 12. Did you know that? They have been selectively bred to lay way more eggs than they should. And in fact, 48 hours prior to coming to a slaughterhouse, you know what they do? They starve the chickens to basically make their body think that they're dying, and then they produce a flurry of eggs right before they get killed. It's horrific. And those hens go to a gas chamber around 18 months old. That's what happens in these industries, and you may not even know this. Please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded, but you aren't vegan yet. Put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap this live and please subscribe.
There's not many sensible comments in here today. People aren't really asking many questions. Usually we get a little bit more intelligent questions in here, but we haven't got any at the moment.
Maybe a lot of kids.
Explain to someone what made you vegan.
Yeah, so what made me vegan? So for 26 years of my life, I would say I was an animal lover, but I just didn't understand the industries. I was eating animal flesh, I was drinking cow's milk, I was paying for eggs, and I was going to zoos and things because I loved animals and I wanted to go and see them. Now, at 26 years old, I saw inside of a slaughterhouse. I saw inside one of these places and I saw a mother cow from the dairy industry being killed. I saw her neck being sliced open again and again and again by 2 workers, bolt gunning her in the head, slashing her throat. The fear, the pain, the suffering that I saw, she was in so much torment. It ripped me apart. I had no idea this went on. I genuinely thought cows eat grass and produce milk. I did not know that they only produce milk for their babies. They only can produce milk if they are a mother, just like your mum and our species. Please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Please put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. And please put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap this live and please subscribe. Right now behind me, they literally kill animals here.
Something's happening.
They're walking towards the gate.
Something's happening, something's happening. Is it that truck that's
These
leaving?
trucks are coming out. Yeah, look at them. Look at these pathetic people on a gate. 2 of them trying to open this gate when they should be on an automated system. What's in this truck?
You know exactly what's in there.
Of the animals. Look at this. Inside a slaughterhouse here. Whose bodies did you pick up? Whose bodies are they in your truck? Shameful. This is the only way the animals get to leave, chopped up into pieces inside trucks like this. This here is where the slaughterhouse is. What an evil, grim, disgusting, scary place for an individual. Shameful. How do you live with yourself doing this? How do you go home to your family with pride? You obviously don't. I'd be embarrassed if I worked here. All animals are being killed behind me. Behind me, they kill cows from the dairy industry. They're killing mothers in here. It's evil. All for their breast milk, intended for their baby. They kill their babies if they are males because they don't produce milk. Okay, what an evil, disgusting industry. I can't actually exist. I can't actually believe I'm here, and I can't believe these places even exist. And people like you are paying for it, and you may not even know. Please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream and please subscribe. Yep.
The GC Bear. Thanks for your comment. What are your views on eating eggs from personal farm chickens? 6 chickens in a total of 20 acres.
Okay, thank you for your question. It's still wrong. So basically, the whole time you're seeing somebody as a commodity and a use for you, like a resource, that's the reason animals are exploited in the first place. Did you know that factory farms only came from smallholding farms and backyard eggs first? Because people started to realise, basically, before I continue, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, and 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Please double tap the live stream, like, share, and comment. Basically what happened is people used to actually have chickens as pets. They then understood that chickens laid an egg every so often. Then for some weird reason, someone ate the egg, and then they told their neighbour, and then their neighbour was like, oh, can I try the egg? And then next thing you know, the next person they're selling the eggs to. Then the industry are like, oh, you know what we can do? We can commodify these animals so they can lay more eggs. So chickens have been genetically modified to lay 300 eggs a year. Then they said what we'll do is we'll breed loads of them, we'll chuck them in a shed, we'll take all their eggs and we'll make loads of money. And that's literally how factory farming and smallhold farming literally work. You need to feed those eggs back to your hens. They're your hens' eggs. Smash them on the floor and feed them back. Please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, and 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream and please subscribe.
Lillian Mays put, just curious, what's your view on the environmental devastation that is caused by the vegan food industry?
It's tiny. It's tiny. If you're worried about environmental stuff, then you should be vegan by default, because being vegan literally causes the least amount of harm. The biggest amount of harm to the environment, ocean dead zones, rainforest destruction, is animal agriculture. So if you're worried about the environment, then you should be vegan. Being vegan is the biggest thing that you can do for the environment, but being vegan is only about the animals, okay? It's only about the animals. It's an injustice towards the animals. It's only a benefit that by being vegan, you help the environment at the same time, and it's better for your health. Put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, please subscribe.
Where are we? Who's coming in here today?
I'm at a slaughterhouse today. There's gonna come, today there'll be cows from the beef industry. They'll be around 18 months old. That's how old cows are when they get sentenced to a slaughterhouse. There will be cows from the dairy industry coming today, and they will be around 3 to 4 years old if they reach that age. They would have had baby after baby taken away from them, because cows only produce milk for their babies. They don't just produce milk because they eat grass, like people think. That's what I used to think. When a cow basically can no longer produce enough milk or produce another baby, or if the farmer deems them as they're being misbehaving, they get sentenced to a slaughterhouse. Cows should live up to 27 years.
Someone's triggered by the fact that we held the gate workers accountable. You're entitled to your opinion, but never insult someone by opening a gate. It was disgusting behavior from you.
I think you're
Insulting them.
confused of who the victim is.
Yeah, I think so.
We should never tell Ted Bundy off for killing humans. He's working, he's making money, he's eating, he needs to eat. Are you listening to yourself? They're not the flipping victims, they're the oppressors. They're the violent oppressors towards animals. How dare you say something like that? Animals are literally being stabbed in the throat, and you're worried about saying shame on you to a worker and saying, how do you sleep at night? That's the least we should be doing. These disgusting places, everyone who works in them should be sentenced to prison for the rest of their life for what they do to animals. Never confuse the victim. How dare you? Put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream and subscribe. It's like when people say, oh, you have to continue because what about the farmers? I don't care about the farmers. Like I don't care about the murderers. I don't care about Ted Bundy. I don't care about Hitler. I don't care if they're homeless for the rest of their life. I'd rather be homeless than ever hurt somebody else or hurt an animal. I would never put money above the oppression of somebody else. That is disgusting, it's evil, they're the weakest scum of this earth. They should be in prison for the rest of their life. Put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, and 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. By the way, I speak with fury and passion because the animals deserve that. They are literally being killed. I'm at a murder house right now called a slaughterhouse. They are murdering animals, okay? That is what happens. Never get confused with who the victim is. It's not fair. It's not okay. Can you imagine if you were the victim and someone had compassion for your killer? Nah.
Where can people see inside these facilities?
Yeah, go to our link in the top right-hand corner of our live stream. Go and watch Dominion for yourself on YouTube. See the reality for yourself. See what happens to animals. Because you can't even imagine what happens. Everything we say, by the way, is not a cruelty case. It's standard practice in the farming industry.
Wow. Chelsea Fenwick music, but I have cows, and when we sell the babies, the mums forget them in 3 days. And if you did your research, it's a quick and harmless death.
Oh, that's all right. We'll do that to you then, right? You're gonna have a baby, we'll steal your baby and murder your baby, and then you know what? I'll also slit your throat because it's gonna be really, really painful.
There's the lies from the farmers.
Humane. Chelsea, you're a scumbag. Go to prison.
Lies from the farmers.
Disgusting, disgusting, evil indoctrination by your disgusting parents who would have indoctrinated you to murder animals. They're babies. You literally said, I sell their babies. You shouldn't have the right to sell anybody's baby. That's their baby, not yours. Stop forcibly breeding them into existence. This wouldn't be an issue. Do something else with your life. Stop having a morally criminal life. It's evil, disgusting. I would be sick to death if I was you and I had that disgusting mindset because my parents brainwashed the hell out of me from a child. You didn't stand a chance. And now you're spreading this and thinking that that's okay. A quick death is now okay. It's murder. Put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. And 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream and subscribe. Farmers never see inside a slaughterhouse. Never. They never go in. And in fact, People talk about small, local, it's all exactly the same, by the way. Whenever we've investigated farms, what you think is factory farming is exactly the same as small holding farm. It's exactly the same. What you think is local down the road could be classed as a factory farm. You don't understand the definition, you don't understand the difference, because there is no difference. They are all commodified, they're all killed, and they're all sentenced to a slaughterhouse to be stabbed with the same knife.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Well said. 1 in the chat if you're vegan. 2 in the chat. If you're not vegan, be open-minded to these conversations. 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Double tap the live stream. Please like, share, and subscribe. We're here today to bring the reality and the truth to the consumer. The industry never would. Imagine marketing these industries with truth and transparency. Imagine when you go into the supermarket and you pick up the packet of bacon, the pig flesh. It said above it, to make this bacon sandwich, 6-month-old piglets were sent inside of a CO2 gas chamber and they suffocated to death where carbonic acid formed on their lungs and their eyes. They thrashed around. Some have even ripped their legs off in pain trying to get back up to the oxygen. That's how your bacon sandwich was made. Would you still buy that product? Imagine if they said, oh, for this block of cheese, we had to kill 2 males, put 1 female into an isolation hutch, and her mum died about 6 months later because she couldn't reproduce again. She was deemed empty. But enjoy your cheese, that's what we have to do to make that. Would you still buy these products? Of course you wouldn't. But that would be the honest transparency marketing from these industries.
KC codes, but I need protein that is available only in fish. If I don't eat fish, I die.
What magical protein is in the body of a fish that you can't get from a plant? Do you understand protein is literally amino acids? Do you understand that all amino acids come from plants? Do you understand that this is a weak excuse for you to continue to oppress fish when you don't need to? Do you understand all of these things? What have you seen?
Just, they're all there. I want to put this over there so we can see more.
Just get rid of the umbrella for a second.
Yeah, put that over there. Yeah, I'm going to show you more. Look at them all having a little mother's meeting over here.
There you go. Just chuck that on the floor for a second, you'll be in the shade. What have you seen?
Just they're all having like a mother's meeting. I want to show people this area here, the slaughterhouse. Look at this.
What is it? What are you doing? Anything in there that is doing skins or anything like that over there? This is inside of a slaughterhouse live, by the way. Mel saw something happening in there. She saw some people moving in there. Very suspicious activity here today. Not sure what's going on.
They all hide. When the camera comes, they all hide behind things. Look, you can see here. You see here? They hide behind this thing here. Cowards, embarrassing.
Maybe this is a result of the other day when we recorded it being 31 degrees centigrade and animals still being brought inside here in trucks that had no air conditioning, they had no refrigeration, they had no air vents. Maybe this is a result of us reporting all of our findings to the appropriate authorities. Maybe the authorities have taken action after our reports. Maybe this is why no animals have turned up yet. Is it too hot today? What's the temperature today? What's the temperature on your phone? What does your temperature say? I wonder what it is. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded to these conversations. 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Double tap the live stream, like, share, and subscribe.
It's 28 degrees today.
28 degrees. Yeah, I wonder. If you see our short that was on our socials from here the other day, absolutely heartbreaking. All the cows lined up with their noses and eyes outside of the truck. They were all gasping for air. We're not here for a welfare issue whatsoever, but it's absolutely heartbreaking at the best of times when you stand here, let alone when you see the animals coming past with extra alarm distress, with extra exploitation, with extra suffering. It's absolutely heartbreaking. Now, the good thing is, this injustice is only propped up because it's a supply and demand industry. And if you aren't liking what you're hearing or seeing, the options you have is to continue to pay for it to happen and be personally responsible for it happening, or you go vegan and you stop funding these industries and you remove your personal accountability for it to happen. Every time you go to the supermarket, every time you go to the zoo, every time you go to buy some clothes, every time you go and buy some products, some makeup, some washing product, anything, you can either decide to fund an industry that is evil and exploitative to animals, or an industry that protects them. What are you going to choose? Number 1 in the chat if you've already chosen to be vegan. Number 2 in the chat, if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to why we're here and you're listening to this conversation. Number 3 in the chat, if you're an anti-vegan, if you don't care about animals. We're live outside of a slaughterhouse where they're executing dairy cows and beef cows. How do you feel about that? Double tap the live stream, subscribe, share, and please like.
ANJA, but I'm not vegan, but I'm against animals being mistreated.
Well, if you're not vegan and you're against animals being mistreated, then you're a number 2 at the moment. But let me ask you, how can you not mistreat them and still kill them for an optional product that you don't need?
They're all
The
mistreated.
answer is you can't. There is no right way to do the wrong thing. Like we said earlier, there is no humane slaughter. There's no ethical way to take the life of an individual. And if you're against that, if you don't like them being mistreated, then today's the day that you go from a number 2 and you become a number 1. Number 1 in the chat if you've already done that and you're a vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet. Number 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Double tap the stream, like, share and subscribe. We're live outside of a slaughterhouse. Go into the description of this live stream, click on the link tree, go to watch Dominion at the top, Pignorance just underneath it. Go and watch them 2 documentaries. They will open your eyes and show you the truth and the reality that these industries won't tell you. Imagine